Hello, good day, student at home. My name is Muhammad Mutawakil, a teacher from Dr. Amina Government Girls College, Birnin Kebbi. And I'm also welcomes you to this new edition of e-learning tutorials, which organized by the Kebbi State Ministry of Education in collaboration with Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. And I'm going to teach you physics. I'm going to teach you physics. And today's date is 13th April 2020. And our topic of the day is combustion of units. So this combustion of the units is under unit and measurement. Based on our previous lesson, we learned about units and quantities. We know that in quantities we have fundamental quantities and we also have derived quantities. Likewise, in units, we have fundamental units and also we have fundamental and derived units. So in this unit, today we are going to look at how can we combat such unit. Because for instance, in meter, let us take the three fundamental quantities we have in physics. We have length, mass, and time. Let us start with a time. Let us start with a length. If we say length has a unit of meter. Now, if we say a meter, meter is a fact that describes or that expresses length. Now, if we say a meter, meter has different classification. We have kilometer, we have centimeter, we have millimeter, we have decimeter, and others. So if we say we are going to use only meter in measuring length, we have very short length and we have a very wide length. So we cannot use meter only in measuring length. Whereas we can use the other classifications of meters in measuring either very small length or very wide one. For instance, this meter rule is an instrument used for measuring length. And it has 100 centimeter, means it is a 1 meter. So if we ask to measure 1 meter, 1 meter, for instance, it is only from this edge to here. 1 meter, it is only for this edge to here. So if from here to here is 1 meter only, if we ask to measure a length from here maybe to Lagos or to Maiduguri, can we use meter to measure this wide length? No. Because if we use this meter only to measure it, what do you think to happen? We are going to have millions of meters, or even more than millions. It can be billions. So that is why scientists come an idea of classification of meter. That is why if we are using, or if we are measuring length, which is very wide, we are going to use from meter, hectometer, decameter, kilometer, and others. If we are using a very minimal range, maybe from this point to this point, if this one is point A, this one is point B, we want to measure from this point A to point B. We cannot use kilometer for measuring this one. And also, we cannot use meter because it is even less than a meter. So that is why we have millimeters and we also have centimeters. I hope you are with me. Thank you. Now, we are going to look at the classification of this meter. Classification of meters. As I told you, meters are classified into various classes. One, we have millimeters, which has a symbol of mm, small mm. This mm means millimeters. After millimeters, we have what we call centimeters. It has a symbol of cm. Cm means centimeters. And we also have what we call decimeters. Decimeters has a symbol of dm. Sorry? dm. After decimeters, we also have what we call before decameters, we have our standard, which is meters. Meter, which has a symbol of m only. After meter, we have what we call decameter, which has a symbol of dkm or capital D M. I hope you are with me. Then we also have hectometer, which has a symbol of HM. Then we have kilometer, which has a symbol of km. So these are the classifications of meter we have. We have millimeter, we have centimeter, we have decimeters, we also have meter. As I told you, meter is our standard unit, or we call System International Unit of measuring length. So after meter, we have decameter, we also have hectometer, and we have kilometer. These are not the only classification of meters, whereas we have very big ones like fetameter, hexameter, zettometer, and others. For at this level, we are only using from millimeters to kilometer. Good. Now, if we take a good look at this table, it is only prefix that added to meters. Here is our standard. So this deci is a prefix that is added to our meter, while this centi is a prefix added to our meter, milli is a prefix added to our meter. Likewise, this deca is a prefix added to it up to kilo. I hope you understand. Good. Now, this prefix has a stand. This meter means only 1 meter. And from meter, we have something less than meter up to millimeters. It means that millimeter is a very minimal range that is not up to a meter. Likewise, centimeter and decimeter. Decimeter is less than meter, centimeter is less than decimeter, and millimeter is less than centimeter. Let us write it in raised to the power of 10. If this meter is 1, this decimeter is 10 raised to the power minus 1. It means that we have from 0 up to 9 decimeters will give us only 1 meter, only this range. I hope you are with me. Then this one is 10 raised to the power minus 2 meters. It means that we have 100 centimeters, because 10 raised to the power minus 2, when we multiply 10 by 10 times itself, we are going to have 100. So minus 100 centimeters or 100 centimeter will give us this range. Then we also have millimeters. Millimeters has 10 raised to the power minus 3. It means that we must have 1,000, because 10 times itself up to 3 times give us 1,000. Means that 1,000 millimeters will give us 1 meter. Before we go, let me show you another instrument used for measuring length. I think I come along with it. We have what we call a measuring tape. This is a measuring tape. On a graduated face of this measuring tape, can you see it clearly? We have many numbers here. We have the numbers at the bottom and the numbers at the top. These numbers at the top is reading in inches, feet, and yard. So it is no longer used at this level. It is for imperial standard. While the numbers at the bottom is used for measuring a standard length, which is meter. So if you can take a good look of it, we have from 1 up to 9. Then from 0 up to 9 again, we have black readings, and we also have red reading. I hope you can see it clearly. Good. This black reading is reading in centimeters. From 1, 2, 3 up to 9. From 0, up to 9 is centimeters. This red one, is millimeter. This red one stands for centimeter. And if we open our instrument up to 100, this 100 stands as meter. From 10 centimeter here we have 20 centimeter, the one which is in red. From 20 we have 30, from 30 up to 90, after 90 we have 100. Then from 100 it means that we have 1 meter. So if we count this 1, 2, 3 up to 9 and add 1, 2, 3 up to 9, we are going to have 100. That is why I told you 100 centimeters will give us 1 meter. Likewise, millimeters is that small calibration we can see on our measuring tape. That small ones. So that from 1 to 2 we have 10 small calibrations which stand as meters. Means that 10 millimeters will give us only 1 centimeter. Another 10 millimeters will give us another 1 centimeter. So if we count it from here, from 0 centimeter to 10, we have 100 millimeters. I hope you are with me. Then from here to meter, we have very small calibration up to 1,000. Because if from here to here, from 1 to 2 we have 10, from 1 to 2 we have 10. If we read it, we are going to have 1,000. I hope you are with me. Good. Then now, let us go to our conversions, or let us design a conversion table. Let us design a conversion table. Now, as I told you, these are the symbol of our classification of meters. Mm is millimeters, cm is centimeter, dm is decimeter, m is meter, while dkm or dm, D in capital means decameter, HM hectometer, while KM kilometer. Now, as we are saying, 10 millimeters will give us 1 centimeter. 1, 2, 3, up to 10 millimeters will give us only 1 centimeter. Likewise, 10 centimeters will give us 1 decimeter. Also, 10 decimeter will give us 1 meter. Will give us 1 meter. Then 10 meters will give us 1 decameter. Then 10 decameters will give us 1 hectometer. Then 10 hectometers will give us 1 kilometer. Now, from 1 up to 10 millimeters give us only 1 centimeter. From 10 centimeters, from 1 to 10 centimeters give us 1 decimeter, up to kilometer. Now, if we want, let us go to conversion. Conversion. Assuming we have a reading that comes in millimeter and we want to convert it. If we say conversion, what do you mean by conversion? Conversion simply means to change something to becomes in a standard. If we say convert 10 millimeters to make meters or 20 millimeters to make in 1 meters, it means that we want to change our value of millimeters or our magnitude of millimeters to change it to becomes in what? In standard meter. This is our standard unit to becomes in a standard. I hope you are with me. Good. Now, example. Let us take an example. Let's say from convert millimeters to meter. Example 1, let us say convert from millimeters to meter. Example, convert, let's say 30 millimeters to meter. Convert 30 millimeters to meter. Now, this means that if we have 30 millimeters, very short range, we want to change it to becomes in a meter. Maybe in the problem you are getting or an example you want to solve is reading in meters. So you must change it to becomes in meter. How can we change 30 millimeters to becomes meter? Now, come back to our table. How many meters do we have in 30 millimeters? It should be 0 point something. It should be very minor. Because we know that here is our standard, which is meter. From 1 meter, from 1 meter to millimeter, we have 1,000. How do you know that it is 1,000? From here to here is 10. We have 110. From decimeter to centimeter, we also have 10. From decimeter to millimeter, we also have 10. 10 multiplied by itself, or 10 times 10 times 10 will give us 1,000. 10 times 10, 100. 100 times 10, 1,000. So this will give us 1,000. It means that we have 1,000 or 30,000 millimeters in 1 meters. Now, we want to convert 30 millimeters to becomes in a meter. Now, we are going to divide. Do you know the reason why? Because millimeter is less than meter. That is why we are going to divide it by 1000. I hope you are with me. If it is greater than meter, we are not going to divide. We are going to multiply. Now, 30 divided by 1000 give us our answer in meters. Because this 30 is in millimeters. If we divide it by 1000, it will give us a meter. Now, we can either use direct to divide 30 by 1000, or we can say this 0 can cancel this 0. 3 divided by 100. How can we get 3 divided by 100? Using long division table, 103. You know that in long division table, the number that is on denominator is supposed to be outside. The number that is at the top or numerator, it should be inside our table. If you mistaken and misplace the numbers, you are going to have the wrong answer. Not that. Number on the numerator is outside the table. Number as numerator is inside. How many 100 do we have in 3? Oh, can 100 go into 3? No. Then what can we do? We are going to use 0 point. After we use 0 point here, we can add 0 here. Then can 100 go into 30? How many 100 do we have in 30? How many 100 do we have in 30? 100 cannot go. We are going to add 0 and 0 here. 100 into 3. How many 100 do we have in 300? 100, 200, 300. It means that we have 3 times. We have 3 times. 3 times 100 give us 300. 300 minus 1, we have 2 numbers. One at the top, one at the bottom. We are going to underline and subtract. 300 minus 300, 0. Or 3 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 0, 0 minus 0, 0, 3 minus 3, 0. It's all the same. So this means that 30 millimeters is equals to 0.03 meters. So this is how we can convert millimeters to meters. Then let us convert this one, kilometer to meter. If we want to convert kilometer to meter, what can we do? Now, for instance, convert, let's take it at example 2. Kilometer to what? To meter. Convert, let's say 40 kilometers to what? To meter. Here is 40. As I told you, we have how many kilometers, how many meters in kilometer? From here, this is our standard. We have 10. Because 10 meters will make 1 decameter. We also have 1 decameter to make 10 decameter to make 1 hectometer. 10 again. We also have 10 hectometer to make 1 kilometer. Another 10. When we multiply 10 by 10 by 10, we are going to have 1,000. I hope you are with me. Good. Then we are going to divide 40 divided by 1,000? No. This one is greater than our meter. We are not going to divide it. Whereas we are going to multiply 40 by 1,000. How can we multiply 40 by 1,000? We can say 1,000 times 40. 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 1, 1. 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 1, 4. Then addition. 0, 0 plus 0, 0, 0, 1 plus 0, 1, nothing plus 4. Oh, sorry. 0. Okay, 0 times 1 is not 1. I mean, I'm sorry, it's 0. So 0 plus 0, 0. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 digits is what? 10,000. It's 40,000. It means that, what do you call it? We have 40,000 meters in what? In only 1 kilometer. We have 40,000 meters in only 1 kilometer. Please, students at home, this is the way we can convert our unit of length, which is meters. And anytime or in class you get an examples or solution or examples you want to make a solution of it, please, you can use this. If it is greater than millimeters, you are going to multiply. If it is less than millimeters, you are going to divide. Thank you.